Hey family, I'm Chef Gillian, formerly known as Technical Sergeant Gillian Howard. Through my global travels, serving our country as an avionics maintainer in the United States Air Force, I have had the ultimate pleasure of experiencing so many different cultures and cuisines in unique places all over the world. In this season of my life, I have been called upon and moved to an even higher purpose. I'm here today to share with you guys a world of cultured concepts. Together, we're going to cook a universal smorgasbord of delicious meals, I promise, modified to fit any budget. We're going to be sinking our teeth and our taste buds into some really delicious food, all while having fun in the mix, straight from the heart, right here on RBTZTV TV Original Network. Hi family, I'm Chef Gillian, and today I'm super excited to bring you a most delicious vegetable today. Now, we all know it's fall. We want to spice up our seasonings as well and our palate as far as vegetables go. I just want to share with you what our secret ingredient is today. I have this beautiful, beautiful melee of squash, all different types of squash. We've got acorn squash, we've got delicata squash, we've even got pumpkins. Fun fact, that's a squash too. Today, family, we're bringing the culture, the cultured concepts. And our star of the party today is this butternut squash. It's a little weird looking, that's okay, but I promise it is going to taste delicious by the end of it. You know, so I'm gonna show you 3 different ways to really make this like the star of the show. Whether you're just doing a simple salad for yourself, you wanna have a soup to warm yourself up on these cozy autumn nights, or if you're looking for, let's say, a showstopper for the company, we're gonna do a really nice butternut squash pasta. So come with me and let's see what we do today. I've got some apples, and what we're gonna do is we're just gonna go ahead and 1, 2, 3, 4, cut out everything but the core. You don't need the core, right? And it doesn't really matter how you dice this, it's gonna be really quick, but we do wanna make sure that our dice, everything that we cut, is all about the same size. This way it cooks very evenly and all at the same time. And now the laborious part, right? It's really not. Don't let this big old thing intimidate you. It's a little awkward at first to kind of like, and you'll find butternut squash in all sizes. These are pretty big. So y'all know I do like all these farmers markets all around Charlotte, right? And one of my favorite ones is the Rosa Parks Farmers Market. Well, at the Rosa Parks Farmers Market is a beautiful farmer Wisdom, and he has this really beautiful urban garden. Like, y'all, I'm talking right in the city center of Charlotte. And so last week I went to visit him and just, you know, check out what was going on. And he gave me these beautiful butternut squash. And he was like, do something with it. Challenge accepted. Y'all, don't laugh at me. Butternut squash, 0. Chef Gillian, 1. Keep on working it out. Don't stop till you get enough. Okay. There we go. Y'all know sometimes I do my British accent. No slight, no shade. So my last duty station was RAF Lake and Heath. And I just about absolutely fell in love. You know how like you have something that you didn't know you was missing until you had it? That's how I feel about it. That's how I feel about the British accent. I didn't know I was missing it. I didn't know how much I needed in my life until I had me some. And now, do you know what? She won't leave us. She won't leave us. She's here to stay, so we love her for it. And now I'm going to make the same size cuts as I did on my apples. So you can take these out, you can dry them, you can salt them and roast them and have your own seeds in this way. Of course, you can always replant as well. So what we're going to do is we're just going to scoop this flesh out because we don't need it. We do not need it. You see me like pressing, giving pressure. That's because the flesh of this is like really hard. It's not like a melon. So you kind of got to work your knife through it. And last little bit. So do you guys see how much like of a yield one squash is? Oh, we got to do our onion. This is all getting roasted on our sheet tray pans with our butternut squash. Remember, I'm saving these for our compost. This is going to get roasted with our butternut squash and our apples. So we don't need it to look any kind of way but the way that it does. Thank you, onion, for giving us such delicious mirepoix, such flavor. So mirepoix is like your flavor bundle, right? That goes into almost everything, especially in French cooking. So you've got carrots, onion, and celery. Today, we're using our onions. I put onions in everything just to impart so much flavor. And you'll have that flavor behind it, but like, if you don't like onions, don't worry about it. Like, still put the onions in there because it just adds such a complex flavor to the curried butternut squash that we're making today. Now, make sure you preheat your oven. So this is for our butternut squash soup that we're making, and we're going to warm these flavors up. Remember, we are all about our culture in this space, right? And one of the best things that I learned from being in the military, like obviously, you know, serving your country and stuff like this, but while I got a chance to be all over maintaining airplanes, specifically F-15s, I got to travel the world, you guys. And it was so exciting to me to see what someone in Thailand did with, for instance, a butternut squash versus what we're going to do in North Carolina with a butternut squash versus what they do with it in, you know, Australia with a butternut squash. And I found that at the intersection of people and food is culture. And it is such a pleasure for me to be able to bring this to you and to share these things with you. So bear with me, friends, as we do all of those things. Okay, so this is all that we need for our really delicious soup. I'm going to drop some garlic cloves on there just because garlic makes everything better. So I've already pre-sliced that one, but honestly, you can just take one and use the back of your knife, right? Smash it. There we go. Now that flavor gets in there. We're going to be using our immersion blender a little later to blend everything up, so it's okay. So here's our butternut squash. We're going to drizzle a little bit of that olive oil on it, right? We're going to drizzle the olive oil on it, and then we're going to just start going at it with a whole bunch of crazy spices. So we're going to go a little turmeric for color, a little ground ginger, salt and pepper blend. Butternut squash loves salt curry powder. Okay, so I prepared that for that. I'm just going to pot this aside because we're going to do it all in one time, You guys, it's like the never-ending squash. I'm gonna take 2 more cups because this is our salad one. We're just gonna go olive oil, right? Same thing. Go ahead and toss that joint. Toss it so everything stick to what it's supposed to stick to. Y'all know I'm from Memphis, right? Blessed. I've been all over the world, but it's nothing like home, right? So this is just a little salt and pepper. That's fine. Salt and pepper that joint up. So, okay, you're going to be like, oh, Gillian, that's too much. No, it's not. We like our seasoning without it being salty. But remember, you're going to lose some of that on the tray. You're going to lose some of that when like when you toss it and everything. If you can see it, that's how you know it's good, right? Come on, look at this here butternut squash. You see how you can see all the black pepper flakes? That's how you know it's good. And now for our last little thing right before we pop in the oven. So this is for, my dears, our sauce. It's gonna make a really delicious sauce. So we got our squash, and we got our onions. Have you noticed that like onions almost went in everything? Like butternut squash and onions. If you got those 2 things, you got a whole meal. You got a whole meal. You can tell them chef said it. So that's that. And of course, you know we're going to put some garlic in this because it's pasta. Who does not love garlic and pasta? And remember, we're just going to take it. This is getting blended up as well, so we don't need it to be any more special than it already is. Okay? Go ahead and season this. And we're pretty much going to season this pretty much like our butternut squash for our salad. Olive oil, right? The garlic, right? And then we got the, this is my right hand, this is my right hand, y'all. So, sometimes it be tricky. Look, this your right hand. I wish I was ambidextrous. I wish I could use like both hands the same way at the same time. But thank God I can use my hands, right? Okay, so we got that there. We're going to put a little bit of this here garlic powder on it. Shake, shake, shake. Y'all be asking me like, oh, chef, how much you be putting on it? I promise I'm going to tell y'all, shake till it feel good, okay? And now let's go straight to the oven with all of our goodies. Now, I have the oven preheating, right? So it's ready, it's hot to go. It's on 400. And this one is going to be our pasta. And then I've got our roasted curry. You can already if you guys can smell this, it's the apples, it's the turmeric, it's the ginger, it's the curry, it's the garlic coming in. Wait till I smooth this down with some coconut milk. You talking about good. I can't wait, y'all. Okay. There's that. And then we'll get our last little one in. Perfect. And we'll set a timer for 20 minutes. Okay, so while we have that in the oven, I'm just gonna prepare for our next 3 dishes, right? So what we'll do is, I just have a little bit of water going and I'm gonna make the farro. This is what's gonna be a delicious ingredient to our fall harvest salad. So we're gonna have it on a bed of mixed greens. We're gonna have some fresh apple chop. This farro, which is an ancient grain, right? It's going to garnish it, right? All over the salad. So this is just gonna really add more texture and a different flavor profile to our salads, right? And then we're gonna finish that off with some candied pecans. I don't know about y'all, but I'm already salivating. And it's just a salad, okay? So in order to make our grains really, 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 really delicious, I'm going to add a little bit of stock. So I do this when I'm making rice. I always put a little stock. You can use vegetable stock, you can use chicken stock. Today, I'm using roasted garlic stock. So there's a few places that sells everywhere sells farro, F-A-R-R-O, but be careful about which one you get because you'll see the kind that takes 30 minutes and then you'll see a quick cooking farro. This is a 10-minute quick cooking farro. Publix got a good brand, Trader Joe's has a delicious brand, and that's what we have too. So we've got some organic, quick cooking farro that is going to lend itself beautiful to our fall harvest salad. So remember, that's 10 minutes. And as soon as it comes to a boil, we're gonna drop that in. You know what? We're gonna go ahead and drop that in now. And we're gonna give that a little stir. Okay. There you go. Once it comes to a boil, we're gonna turn it off and let it chill for about 5 minutes, and then it'll be perfect. Okay. Now I can tell just as soon as I put my spoon in that this farro was perfect. And this is gonna be perfect because remember, we're just using this as a garnish. It's always good to be able to, multitask, do a few things at once, right? So we've got our water at a rolling boil. And again, this is just, salted water. And what I'm using today is something that my family really loves. And this is pasta, obviously spaghetti. So my family loves spaghetti, but I'm trying to get them new ways to not eat so many carbs or just heavy. So Banza makes a really great chickpea spaghetti, and that's what this is. Pasta made from chickpeas. It's a really cool way to sneak vegetables into your kids' diet, and they have no idea that they just ate a bunch of chickpeas. Let's go ahead and whip up our delicious honey vinaigrette dressing for our fall harvest salad, right? So it's so simple, you guys. I promise once I show you how to make this fall harvest salad and salad dressing, you're never gonna wanna buy store-bought salad dressing again. It's so easy, and it's made, I'm willing to bet it's made with everything that you already have in your pantry. Let's check it out, okay? So we're gonna go ahead and put our shallots in there, and that came out to be about maybe a heaping tablespoon, if you will, of shallots. Oh, you guys, guess what I got from our garden? Some fresh herbs. Let me show you. I've got some beautiful basil and some thyme and some rosemary. Now, all of this can really go into our dressing, but we're only gonna use a few of them. Let's put some fresh thyme in there. And you don't chop this whole thing, right? You literally, watch this. Go backwards. And look at that. There you have it off. Cool trick, huh? Thank you, Chef. You can give it a rough chop if you want to. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. There you go. Remember, pick your knife up when you cut. If you do chop, you risk bruising the herbs and smashing them. You want to chop them in that way so that all the flavor and the natural oils release. And you're just left with some really good stuff. Okay, I'm going to add some Dijon mustard. So I'm gonna do equal parts, y'all. a tablespoon, so to speak, of apple cider vinegar. We've got that, and then we're gonna do a little bit of olive oil. Oh, and we need something this sweet, right? If you are a vegan, you can feel free to substitute maple syrup in this. Just like people have spring allergies, they have fall allergies. So using an organic and local honey can help combat that. Let's taste this and see what we need. In the culinary world, we call this nappe. Now, we're talking about a dressing, but the way that it coats the back of your spoon, that's how we know we've got that really nice texture. And remember, this is a vinaigrette, so it's not supposed to be like super thick, but it's not supposed to be super thin either. If you find, oh, y'all, they had to stop me dead in my tracks. Okay, dressing. If it's too thin, add some more extra virgin olive oil, and that will help. That's good, y'all. Oh, I can't wait for y'all to try this. Hurry up and make this. Hurry up and make this. Okay, we're going to put this aside while we get everything else together. Okay, before we even open it, I can smell this, okay? Cooking is such a sensory experience. You got to use your eyes, your nose, your fingers, everything. Okay, so let's check us. Okay, so this is for our butternut squash pasta. And the onions are really nice. Don't worry about the roasted pieces. It's got a little melanin on them. That's okay. That's gonna lend itself to good flavor. Now we wanna check and make sure it's done. Remember, we cut everything like to size. So that one's done. This is for our salad. These are also done. And they're quite lovely, if I do say so myself. All I'm gonna do is pop my squash that's going on my salad just on a regular plate, and I'm gonna pop this in the refrigerator just so it can cool down. Let us chill. All right, so I'm pulling the butternut squash that's going for our curry soup up a little bit, just so it can take that last 5 minutes to have the oven all to itself. Sometimes I wish I was the only child so I could have had my mama all to myself. Love you, sister. You guys, this is perfect. This is what we want when we think about our soup, right? Don't be like, oh, chef, it's got a little bit too much on it. We like that color. We like that melanin. We like that roasting flavor, right? So this is going to be delicious, okay? And while this is, I'm just going to pop this on the countertop to let this chill out for a second while we work on our butternut squash sauce. Be right back. So now that we have had all of our vegetables roasted, we're going to go ahead and do something for the culture. So I'm really excited to share this with you guys because this is something new for me as well, right? So we're doing this new thing together, okay? Come on, be new with me. It's going to start with our freshly roasted butternut squash as well as our garlic and our onion. I'm going to be adding this to the pan. So we're going to be blending all of these things together. We're going to add our ricotta in there. This is what we have. We've got a little bit of thyme, a little bit of rosemary, and a little bit of basil. And we're going to put all of that in there. Yeah. This is looking so good. But we're going to go ahead and add our cheese blend in it. And this one is going to get good, y'all. Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. When I first got this immersion blender, I thought I was the bee's knees. I had just come back from England and I had just moved to Charlotte and I was just about to start at Johnson & Wales, right? So I got my degree from. And my aunt, who was being super supportive in that moment, decided to get me like a housewarming gift, right? So I'm like, oh, you know, I'm getting back from the military. I'm super terrified about, you know, how does life translate from military world to civilian world? And when I arrived here in Charlotte, she got me a KitchenAid and a KitchenAid like immersion blender with all these attachments. And like, you know, normally people want money or this or that. Like, give me anything Michael Jackson and any kitchen gadget, okay? That is what makes me feel good in my heart. So thank you, Auntie, for this immersion blender. 8 years later, it still worked like a charm. Oh, wait a minute, child. That surprised me. Did y'all see my eyes look over there? Okay. So this is after I've blended only the butternut squash and the smoked Gouda and the Parmesan, right? And you saw we put those nice herbs in there. So it's a little bit thick than I wanted. And I only reserved a cup of the pasta water. So that's fine. We're just gonna add a little bit more in. Now I'm adding water just because I used my pasta water and my pasta water was salted already. So I don't want to add any more salt in that way, which is why I'm using just straight water. But feel free to use heavy cream in this. Feel free to add a little bit more stock to this. That'll be just fine. Cooking is all about you and how you feel in that moment, right? And what you do with the things that you have. And we all do a little bit different things with the things that we have, but we're grateful for everything that we have. So let's put our soup on really quickly, and then we're gonna work on our garnishes and start plating. Everything's done. Look at that, simple. Okay, so for our soup, we've got our pan on here. And this is our butternut squash in apple, garlic, and onion roasted. Ta-da! Okay. So what's really delicious about this, you guys, is this soup is so versatile. It imparts some flavors, right? Some worldly cuisines, and that's exactly what we're doing here. So I have, again, this is on. And then we are going to add to it just a few of my favorite things. So here is some organic heavy cream, coconut style. So this, my friends, as you can guess, is vegetarian, non-dairy at least, right? So for all you lactose intolerant freaks out there, like me, who can't really stomach too much like milk in this way, this is a great addition. The same thing that we did with our butternut squash pasta, we're gonna do the same thing with our soup and use our immersion blender to get that thing nice and whipped. So as you guys can see, this is our mix, our curry mix, and we are breaking out our best friend, our immersion blender one more again. Woo! So that's really good. It's got the fall flavors. We're gonna pop this back on the stove. It's got the fall flavors. The consistency is nice. I want to thin it out just a little bit. That curry is so warm and it's not spicy, y'all. Don't be scared about curry and you think like, oh, it's spicy. It's not spicy. Tis spiced, but it's not spicy. So much so we're going to add just a little bit more, right? We're going to add a little bit of that, and then we're going to add a little bit of salt because that's exactly what it was missing. I've got a few little tricks up my sleeve for this meal that's really going to take it from here to bang, yang, yang up there, okay? Stay tuned. Okay, so I'm excited about this butternut squash pasta, right? And remember I told y'all, this the level up, right? This the one for the culture. We played it safe with our butternut squash salad, and then we kind of stepped the game up on our curry soup, but then we did it with the butternut squash pasta, and we're going to serve it with some pancetta, which is like, pancetta is so delicious when you dice it and render the fat. It's just a beautiful toss in. You can toss this into risotto. You can do like we're doing and make it with the pasta. And it's just a really nice complement to everything that you're doing. Now we've got our pan behind us just heating up, and it should be pretty hot by now. Okay, let's check that. And then we're just gonna add our beautiful pancetta to the pan. Your knife is also a shovel. You don't need any grease in it because the pancetta, it's natural fat, just like bacon is gonna make its own. So you don't have to worry about putting any butter or any oil or nothing like that. You don't need nothing. It's good all by itself. Perfect. Y'all hear that sizzle? That snap, crackle, and pop? It's music. Music. All right. Okay, so while that's going, let's prep our raw foods, right? So So this is awesome. You guys, I've taken this out of the refrigerator about 35, 40 minutes before we started so that the air can dry it. It can, you know, come to room temp. The last thing you want to do is put a cold steak or a cold fish right into hot grease, right? It's going to suck. So don't do that. But I've taken them out and I've patted them dry so that way we can get a really beautiful sear on this steak when we go outside. So these filet mignons and this ribeye is going to be so good. And I put it on the front and the back, but now I just put a little bit on my cutting board just to roll my steaks in it, just so I can make sure that all that flavor gets on everything. Filet mignons are a little thick, so, you know, you want to season it all the way around so that way when you actually do get to the inside of it, you still got that same flavor. You don't have to, you know, compromise your flavor or your seasonings on it just because of the type of cut that it is, right? So I've got that nice in this way. A little bit more. Perfect. We're going to pop that right back on there. And then we're going to flip our steak and our ribeye and make sure that we got the same thing on that side as well. If you can see it, you can believe it. If you can see it, you can accomplish it. Thank you, God, for the things that we see and even for the things that we can't see. We're grateful for all of it. Okay, so there we are. And they look perfect. I've already got our grill outside and it's already preheating, okay? So let's take us a walk out by the pool and then we're gonna put this on the grill and these are gonna turn out fabulous. If anybody knows me, you know I live for a beautiful medium rare piece of steak. Let's make some magic. Hey y'all. Okay, so today out here we've got us a beautiful outdoor grill here and I've got it on piping hot. That's the temperature. Look, if you look here it says piping. Just kidding, it says 5 something. But that's perfect temperature for us to get that sear on our steaks and that's what we're coming here for, right? So we're gonna have this high temperature up. We're gonna put the steaks on there, let them get that nice color, that nice grill marks on them, and then we're gonna use our indirect heat to go ahead and further finish cooking them. I wanted to tell you that before I opened it, because when I open it, all the heat comes out, right? So when we open it, we gotta be ready to go. You ready? Let's do this. I got you. Okay, so we're gonna go 10 and 2. Look at that. We got a nice on there. Perfect. Okay, and we're gonna let that set to itself. So we are going to do, steak is cooked 145. You're good to eat it, right? People pull it off 155. That's about medium well, if you will. But we are going to bring our steaks right up to about 145 temperature, and that's good. That's 107. That's perfect. We're going to go ahead and pull this off. Okay. And then our steaks. Let's go ahead and temp in the thickest part. Remember, we're finishing these on the inside. We're just coming out here for the grill marks. 102. That's nice. 98, 97. So we know it's a little cold on it. That's fine. It's okay if it's under. The last thing you want to do is mess up a really delicious piece of steak, right? This is where we're going to take a good steak and make it the bomb, okay? So little cooking lesson, little trick of the trade. Now we've got our pan in there and it's getting warm. I'm gonna drop a couple pats of butter in there. There we go. That's nice. That's nice. That's nice. Y'all gonna be like, look how much butter she using. Now, I know we've been talking about being healthy this whole time. This is how we can splurge at this moment. So what I've done is drop that butter in there, and I'm just gonna smash a garlic clove really quick, and then that's going to infuse that flavor in that butter, right? So let's pop that. Perfect. We're gonna throw this in there, and then y'all know we like them fresh herbs from our garden. So I'm gonna put a little piece of rosemary in it, yeah, to flavor, and some of that thyme, y'all, that thyme. It's okay, ain't nothing happening. All right, and then that is infusing that butter. Now this is your steakhouse tip. So we've got our steak in there, and this is nice. We're gonna go ahead. Ooh, yeah. So now our butter's been infusing, right? Ooh. Now we're gonna take this, and we're just gonna baste our steaks, right? About 15, 20 times. Now that garlic butter, I can hear y'all literally saying, ooh, I can hear y'all. I can hear y'all. Listen, we're gonna take this and we're gonna do this like this, and all that flavor, all that garlic, all those fresh herbs and stuff, it's just gonna seep right into the meat. I'm talking about the butter gonna seep all the way down, y'all. What? I'm known in the streets for my steaks. Trust me when I tell you, this gonna be some good eating. Okay. That's awesome. Now, if you fancy, you can flip it over and do the same thing on the other side, right? Just how we bring them up to temp. Okay. So these are perfect. I'm going to pull these off because I want to enjoy these just as they are. And we're doing the same thing with this one. Y'all see how I'm flip this steak up on this side? Because I want to make sure that the fat gets rendered. That's perfect. Enter sea scallops. So sea scallops are delicious. You will see if you go to the market, I got these from Whole Foods, right? But if you go to the market, you may see two different types of scallops. You'll see these kind of larger ones. These are the sea scallops. That's how you know, right? And then you'll see the smaller ones, the ones that are like a quarter size, or not even a quarter, like a nickel, something like it's like 100 in a pack. Those are bay scallops, right? So all of those in the bay scallops, these are sea scallops. These are the good ones. So scallops are so easy, you guys. Let me tell you, I'm not kidding. Every time I make scallops, I'm always hearing Gordon Ramsay's voice in my head. Do y'all watch Hell's Kitchen? So y'all know Gordon Ramsay be off the chain, but I love it though, because it makes me feel like I'm back in the military. Call me Gordon Ramsay. I love to cook in your kitchen on any day. Shameless plug. But no, so Gordon Ramsay be on there going ham, y'all. He'd be like, who did these scallops? Who cooked the scallops? And you'll hear some like little mousy chef. She'll be like, I did, chef. They're raw. They're freaking raw. So I always think about that and hear that in my brain when I'm doing this. So that way I won't mess up the scallops. So when Gordon Ramsay do call me, the one thing I know I'm gonna be able to know how to cook first serve is scallops. Now what I've just done, what you guys saw me doing, was drying the surface. This is how we're gonna get a really awesome sear on it, right? So take all the moisture out of it, and then we're gonna add the moisture from the pan, right? So, and now we're just going to add salt and pepper on these, both sides. Super easy, super simple. And when you have good scallops, and really just anything good, y'all, you know, you don't need no whole lot of nothing, right? You just need some fresh herbs, a little salt and pepper, and a whole lot of love. You can make some, shake some. Okay, so I did one side, flip them over real quick, like. Yep, and check out those beautiful scallops. They're nice and firm to the touch. Oh, y'all, I can't wait to show y'all how to do some red snapper. My favorite seafood marketplace here in Charlotte is Weston Seafood, and they have some really delicious black bass. Y'all ready, Gordon Ramsay? Y'all hear that? That's what you want to hear. You don't want to put cold food in a cold pan. Your grease won't do nothing but soak up, or your scallops won't do nothing but soak up your grease. And we're going to do 90 seconds. 90 seconds on one side, about 30 seconds on the other side, and they're going to be perfect. Oh, that's good. I want y'all to see the translucency disappear. Yeah, I still have one that's kind of not. That's perfect. That's perfect. We know the small one's going to go fast, right? Gonna go first. As soon as the sides of it no longer look transparent, or like clear, like how shrimp, you know how shrimp kind of looks like opaque, but then you cook it just until it turned pink, just until it turned white. Think about scallops in that same way. The flesh, that color like that, it's kind of like salmon in that same way about when it's done. Those are perfect. Ain't no overcooked scallops over here. Perfect, 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 perfect. Don't you love it when everything just goes to plan, goes accordingly? I mean, I know sometimes it don't always work out like that, but when it do, it feels so good. Thank you for it all working out all the time. Bless. Okay, so let's get to plating. Okay, family. So we're here now and we are ready to go ahead and start plating our beautiful meal featuring all things butternut squash. So today, this is our fall harvest salad. Honey, apple, vinaigrette, come through, y'all. Look at all of that with the shallots. Ooh. And now, this is where the art comes in. Right? And I'm just gonna toss just a little bit because we don't like our salad or our edges dry. And so here we go, adding some farro, which is an ancient grain. And then we're gonna hit it with that cheese. Fall harvest salad, complete with beautiful roasted butternut squash. We've got our mixed greens and arugula. We've got that arugula adding in for the flavor. So here's our level up on our butternut squash. And so I've just got some corn just to garnish in the middle. That's fine. Croutons work just perfectly. Beautiful curried butternut squash soup with a little corn and croutons and fresh cracked black pepper with a little basil oil in it. Holler at me if you want a recipe. So this is our final dish of the day, and we have had so much fun together, right? I know I have. What about y'all? Now we're gonna bring it on home with this butternut squash pasta, okay? These are scallops that our dear friend Gordon Ramsay would be so proud of. And now you have a beautiful show-stopping butternut squash pasta. Oh, that was the best 5 seconds of my life, y'all. Did y'all see that? That was 5 seconds of just savoring. Savoring something delicious and savoring something new, y'all, and savoring something fun, right? Hey family, it was truly a blessing to have all of you join me today in the kitchen where I brought you so much culture and so many different cuisines. You guys, stay tuned in. I promise, I've already done the hard work for you. All you have to do is tune in and tap in to continue getting all this delicious cuisine from all over the world. Oh, I cannot wait to share these things with you. I'll be looking forward to sharing with you very soon. Thank you. Sergeant Howard, out.